I think for me, from my point of view, it's response time. I feel like it makes or breaks a customer interaction, in my opinion. If you're not responsive, if you're not able to give them that, I hate to say it, that dirty word, but Amazon experience, if you rely on them to go dive through frequently asked questions to find something that you could easily ask in chat, I think it's a huge mistake. So to me, that's, we're shopping, it's just like walking in a store. I walk in, I want to buy a pair of pants, I walk and someone walks up and says, "How can I help you?" And then you say, "I'm looking for these pants." They literally help you find 5 other pairs. Like, there needs to be that type of experience for customers, and that is also part of response time. It's recognizing that someone is virtually walking through your store, and how are you helping them? How are you being of assistance to them? So to me, she'll dive into a million metrics, but from the brand side, it's being responsive and making sure you're there to meet that customer at the door.
We have a full panel. It's as big as it can get.
Am I unplugging myself?
Starting from
Thin crowd.
Starting from my left, sliding all down this way. Please give me an introduction. And you guys got that brisk.
I can barely hear you. I think you're saying you want an introduction?
Yes, please. Introductions for the.
I'm Doug Berta, founder, CEO of Red Apple Fireworks.
I'm Chris Carter. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Forge 4x4, which is part of Restomods Group with Freedom Street Garage, Restomods, and Forge 4x4.
I am Lacey Eyre. I'm the Director of Client Success for Aventus. We are a customer service outsourcing agency with clients like Dude Wipes, Burt's Bees, Hexclad, and some that you see here on the panel.
Red Apple Fireworks.
I'm Zoe Kahn. I am the VP of Retention and Customer Experience at Audion Hearing, and also a founder of Inevitable Agency, a CX agency that I accidentally started.
I'm Kelly Stacy. I'm a fashion and lifestyle business expert, former CEO of Aventus.
So this is a space that I was not really needing to get into, but now all of a sudden CX is a huge deal for me because of all the products we sell. But it's still really difficult. I've had these conversations with a couple of people here, like, how am I measuring this? So my first one, I'm going to throw it to Doug, and I probably want to go down the line here. Is how am I measuring like the impact of customer service to the actual revenue that can be coming in to my brand?
Yeah, it's a great question. Right now for my company, it's really easy because we've gone through this transition where we had a bunch of people that I found out were largely redundant, and now our team is like a third the size that it was last year, and we're accomplishing so much more with so many fewer people. And so in terms of customer service, we went from a team that was mostly ineffective to a couple of people that are super effective. So it hits directly to the bottom line. You can just look at the salaries that you were paying before compared to what you're paying now.
What about you?
We have a sweepstakes-driven business that primarily has members that pay monthly. So we have a subscription-based business that is predicated off of a giveaway that we do every 3 months for each one of our brands. So for us, customer service was kind of an afterthought. We didn't really put that much time or effort into it until 2 years ago. We reinvested into it and saw a direct return on investment from the attrition curves dropping. Once someone calls in to cancel, we now have an opportunity to sell them, educate them on what's going on, and that was like night and day difference for us. It was like the trash man before. It was like, just as long as the trash doesn't smell, it could just keep on getting taken out. And now it's a profit center for us that's paying for itself because we just reinvested in the right reps and more of them.
What's the demographic of your buyer?
It ranges. So each brand is different. Restomods is all baby boomers and millennials. Forge 4x4 is more like younger Gen Z to millennials. And then Freedom Street Garage is all over the map. So we have a wide range. It depends on what car we're giving away.
Yeah, because I think this space is like the different means of communicating. They want to talk to you on the phone. They want AI. They want a text message. So it's been, for me, trying to get my head around it because all the demos are so different. I'm still trying to figure out where am I investing my dollars into, whether it's going to be an actual phone service or is it the platform I'm using. How do you I'll throw this to Zoe, how are you like steering people into where to put their time, effort, and dollars into beefing up a specific section of the customer support team?
Well, I actually used to be kind of anti-phones because I thought that it was really, really efficient to answer an email, get their answer or their question answered. But now I'm actually very, very phone-based because Audion Hearing is an over-the-counter hearing aid company, and it's really hard to troubleshoot and upsell and do all these things going back and forth with emails, and the customer might think like they might be turned off by us asking probing questions to fix the problem and everything. They think you're trying to like swerve the return and everything. So everything on the phone is much easier, and you're able to like really connect and humanize the experience by connecting with them on the phone and doing more through phone rather than email. And I've found that it's a much better place to be a profit center rather than, a cost center.
On the same thread, over to Kelly, have you seen customer service like directly impact growth of revenue?
Well, I like to look at operational efficiencies as money savers as well, because for Audion, for example, we lowered our return percentage by 5% since January, which has saved us a ton of money. And on top of saving money through reducing returns, you can also, on top of that, do other revenue drivers and everything. So operational efficiencies, I think, is a big miss. That some people look at just upselling and educating the customers, but you lose so much money by not having processes be efficient, because you're putting band-aids on things and not actually fixing issues. So I look at it as revenue drivers plus operational efficiencies to save money.
I started my career on the brand side, so I was with a multinational swimwear brand for 15 years. And customer service was always important to us, and we had phone back then because we felt like that direct relationship with our customer was so important. And tying that to revenue, honestly, when you're on the phone with a customer, being able to upsell, cross-sell, even retain them, even exchange them into something else, it's hard to do that through other channels. But in general, I feel like there was a bit of a complacency in customer service when I left the brand and went into the technology side, agency side, and then when I went to Aventus, I went there because I saw a huge gap and just people really focusing on the customer and understanding that is the voice of that is the closest communication you'll have with your brand is your customer. So definitely there's a revenue upside, there's definitely cost savings, because I talk to brands all the time and I ask them, the first question I ask them is, what do you want to focus on as a brand? And most of them don't want to focus on customer service. They want to build their product, they want to build their marketing, they want to be thinking about their brand, and they don't want to internalize that. So when they internalize it, they sometimes cut corners on different channels because they want to make it as easy as possible, and it's at the detriment of revenue. Honestly, you end up spending more because you're paying so much to acquire your customer and you're not really giving them that service on the other side. So for me, it's just it's revenue optimization and it's retention, it's everything.
Chris or Doug, anything else you guys would add to those two?
So it's almost like a hierarchy. If every single touch point that someone is reaching out to your business is an opportunity for you to educate them, to be friends with them, to make them a lifelong customer. So that ranges from when someone calls, that is the highest priority. They're on the phone right now, you have an opportunity to persuade them immediately. And then from there, chat is right there as well. Then we go down to email, not as important to be right on top of it. And then direct messages online, and then social media comments. It's like that is a hierarchy that our agents work from, voice being priority, and when they're not taking a phone call, then they move on to the next one and the next one, to the point that we are trying to get 100% optimization of every single customer service rep, that they're not sitting around waiting for another phone call to come in. It's like, no, jump on DMs, jump on comments, jump on other opportunities for you to educate your audience to get them to fall in love with you.
Well, especially for your brand, you and a couple others are the face of the brand. When people call in, do they expect to hear you talk?
No, but no.
No?
I got out of that a long time ago, but it was
You can do AI to kind of get that voice out there, bro.
So it's a good case study of like when I would pick up the phone and answer, it was a 99% close rate. They're staying on, I'm selling them on shirts. And when our reps do it, it's much lower. Why is that? Yes, the co-founder is on the phone with you right now, but at the same time, if you can educate your reps to be as knowledgeable as you are, then there shouldn't be a loss. If anything, they should be rewarded for that. So that was something that we learned early on when we revised it. It's like you have to be like the co-founder. You have to be that person because you are the front lines of your brand from a customer service rep perspective.
Do you have a subscription element to your business?
Have what?
A subscription element?
That's 90% of our revenue.
Okay, how much of a reduction? Because this is the business I live in, right? Growing the subscription side. And I'm trying to get ahead of these people so A, don't cancel, or if anything, they just pause. That's what I'm kind of push them into. Do you have any tricks of the trade to go from don't cancel, just give me a pause?
Yeah, there's a couple things happening right now with the FTC as far as save the sale goes. The customer has to actually acknowledge that and give consent that you could offer them some sort of deal or promotion. But the biggest thing is ask them questions. Oh, you're from here. Oh, what's that like? Why'd you join initially? What did you know all these benefits that you had? It's education that's part of it before eventually someone is going to say, I want to cancel. Like, no problem. Cancel you right away. Here's your email confirmation. I hope you come back. Just so you know, for our model, they get entered to win an active sweepstakes, so their entries are locked. So they are still tied to the brand, and if we could follow up with the email drip campaign and everything, hopefully they come back. But we're very successful at just developing a relationship with them. It's not rocket science. It's like you need to ask them questions, get them involved, make sure you demonstrate the value of why'd you sign up initially. Nothing's changed, right? Maybe financially it has for them, in which case you cancel, make sure it's a good positive interaction, and hopefully they come back.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna go to Lacey, let me go over to Doug. He talked a little bit about training. How are you getting people to do it? Because once the founder's off, because I'm the founder, I'm ripping through emails, I'm trying to get my bottom line, right? But how do I make sure that the secondary, third, and even to the point where if I want to offshore, how do I make sure that the training docs are in place?
No, that's a great question. So customized training is super important, especially when you want to be able to transfer the voice of the brand through your customer service agent. So we incorporate that into our training, into checking out the brand's customers, again, their advertisements, how do they already interact on their social medias with customers so that our agents can reflect that when interacting, right? So it comes down to that personalized training as well as upskill training. We have a lot of courses at Aventus that are going to be specific to each type of brand, and then again, having that brand specific course so that they become a product expert and again, hit that tone that the company's really trying to express to their clients.
Over to Doug. There's a big season for like these purchases to happen. There's a major holiday that usually like they come in to buy at. Is their education of like, hey, your volume is about to go up? Is that a thing that the team just understands when the season hits?
Yeah, it's part and parcel to the whole thing because we do about 90+% of our top line revenue within a 2 or 3 week period.
Insane.
And so we have to, and this is one of the reasons that working with Aventus has been great is because we had to build a system that could easily scale up and easily scale down. And I know that's like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but in a fireworks business, it's like BFCM on steroids because everyone's just like, take my money, and you have to deliver so quickly, and because it's hazmat, you can't just ship it overnight if you mess up, right? So you got people on the phone who are like, where the fuck are my fireworks? It's July 3rd, and you got to be able to, your options to give them a resolution to their satisfaction is much smaller than shipping a T-shirt or something like that. So I think we have to build a system to scale up and scale down, and I think it's in constant evolution. Because something works right now is not going to work when there's a new trend that messes with what you thought was your solid foundation.
So in your line of business, like something's like red alert, I got to get this out to the customer. Like, what is that process? Shipping the fireworks. Like, how do you do this?
Well, so it's all LTL, which is common carrier. So we have to ship everything.
What is LTL?
What's that?
What's LTL?
LTL is less than a trailer load. So we have to ship all fireworks orders on a pallet. It's got to be forked onto a semi truck, taken to the local distribution center, and then.
Why would you do this business?
It's a terrible business. If anyone wants to buy my company, it's very, very, all of the reasons that you get into e-commerce are non-existent when it comes to e-commerce fireworks. So, we can't buy ads, we can't, the content restrictions are stupid and, it's explosive, so I don't really, you got to deal with that, but.
No, that's a good point. Oh my God, what is going on? How do you, in terms of like leveraging customer support to get a little bit of like increase of LTV, like do you believe that on phone sales or just in general CX, are you measuring the increase of LTV on the existing customers? I'm going to go with Lacey and then over to Zoe.
Yeah, absolutely. So, diving into your reports and analytics can show you the return on those, customer experiences. And taking a big look as well at the upsells and cross-sells from just having those organic conversations with your customers, you'll learn more about them, more about their needs, what they're looking for, And with having that personalized training that will lead to customer service representatives that are able to speak very knowledgeable about your products, to be able to offer products that will best fit your customers' needs. So I think that's how you can really judge that lifetime value as well as the return on investment with their upselling and cross-selling.
Zoe, then Kelly?
Yeah, very, very valid, but also we do a lot of surveying of our customers, and not only surveying, but just listening to our customers and what's going on in the inbox to understand how to get them to purchase quicker from that first to second purchase and why aren't they doing that. And retention and LTV is like all driven by knowing that information. So being able to really like use I always say that your inbox, your support inbox is gold because all of your answers are there. Like any question you have about your company, it's sitting in the inbox. And if you want to improve your business, just go look at what your customer support is dealing with and ask your support team because they know what your customers want. If you ask your customer support team, like what do you think would make our customers purchase, or yeah, like how can we get our customers to purchase more? I bet you they have a million answers because they're dealing with them all day. So to be able to increase your LTV, like surveying and looking at all of the purchase journey and all of that, but also just like listening to your customers and you don't want to forget that your customers are why you have the business.
Are there core metrics, and this is for the whole entire panel, I'll start over here with Kelly. There's core metrics that you're holding your customer support team to hitting. Is it response time? Is it revenue generated? What are like the three things, or maybe even just like the top thing that you're having them be monitored on?
I think for me, from my point of view, it's response time. I feel like it makes or breaks a customer interaction, in my opinion. If you're not responsive, if you're not able to give them that, I hate to say it, that dirty word, but Amazon experience, and if you don't have, if you rely on them to go dive through frequently asked questions to find something that you could easily ask in chat, I think it's a huge mistake. So to me, that's, we're shopping. It's just like you walk into a store. It's just like walking in a store. I walk in, I want to buy a pair of pants. I walk, and someone walks up and says, "How can I help you?" And then you say, "I'm looking for these pants," and they literally help you find 5 other pairs. Like, there needs to be that type of experience for customers, and that is also part of response time. It's recognizing that someone is virtually walking through your store, and how are you helping them? How are you being of assistance to them? So to me, she'll dive into a million metrics, but from the brand side, it's being responsive and making sure you're there to meet that customer at the door.
And I think a quick piggyback off what you were saying as well is also going to be your contacts per resolution, right?
That's what I was
Whether
gonna
we're
say.
talking about
So
phone,
important. That's what I was going to say.
Yes, phone, email, SMS, no matter what it is, how many times does the customer have to follow up or answer questions from your team in order to get a resolution? I think it even goes back to what Zoe was saying. The longer it's drawn out, the more frustrating it can be, especially in channels that aren't voice. So monitoring your contacts per resolution will draw right in line with your customer satisfaction and like your CSAT scores.
And there's a high opportunity expense with that too, because the time that you're making them contact you to get their answer, they should be shopping on your website, right? They should be searching for their product, not asking you some detail that should already be covered,
Is there a morning team and then the afternoon team and the night team that you guys all deploy? And did you go there right away? Someone want to jump on that?
I mean, I can kind of jump in there. I think what Aventus focuses on, both with Doug and Chris's brand, is dedicated customer service. So one of the things that we will take a look at is when the customers are reaching out. So we'll do analysis about every 30 to 60 days to say, when is this outreach on when your staffing should be there? That's going to lower those response times as well. So, and having those dedicated representatives should also decrease your contacts per resolution, because they're so familiar with your customers, they're going to know exactly what they need to ask, all the things that they need to cover to minimize how many emails have to go back and forth, how many messages have to go back and forth.
That's a really important piece of your software functionality too, is to make sure that you can see the analytics around when they're writing in. So you just follow the trend at that point, right?
Right.
This is something that I've been trying to figure out as my CX team has continued to grow, is like, what is the progression for someone that's just starting out as, like, I'm a junior executive or I'm a junior rep on a CX. Where do I go next? Do I just get more tickets? Do I move into like different channels? What does the progression look like for any of your guys' teams?
So you're saying the progression of like a customer service agent?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, what we like to do is have them focus on one channel and then again progress into multiple channels, leading into what Chris was saying, creating that hierarchy. Like the call-in queue is always the most important. When you call in for customer service, you expect that call to be answered quickly, as well as for your questions to be resolved fairly swiftly. Customers are wanting a 3 to 5 minute phone call, so you have to make that quality time. So I would generally start with phone and then progress them through the other channels.
If I could put in there, I like to allow my agents to not only allow them to work on all the channels, but then also ask them what most interests them, because customer support experience, it touches every single part of your business. And you'll see, like Sierra, for example, she was, I called her my product specialist when I worked at Ghost, because she had a dietetics degree and she was so good at answering those like very deep questions about the like science behind the supplements. And so Sierra knew how to do everything, but she was so interested in like the science behind it. So I was like, okay, now you're going to do all, like if that's what interests you, we're going to send all of those tickets to you. Some people get really, really interested in like the operations side and the marketing side. So I always like to not only like let them do all of the different channels, but then because they touch every type of business or a part of the business, you can allow them to expand on their career. Like I started as a customer support, it was part-time customer support agent, and I got super into the marketing and the operations, and like it just evolved. So I always like to ask my agents, what are you interested in? And like, it doesn't have to just be, you don't have to answer tickets for the rest of your life. What do you like to do? And it's really empowering for them too, because they can not only just like help the customer and be reactive, but they can be proactive and understand more about the business and use that to help change your business.
I've been wondering if I want to incentivize my team to, and I don't want to do this in the wrong way, maybe like a sleazy way, but I want them to sell. I want my CX people to know the product enough, sell and get a piece of that sale. Is that something that you guys have seen in your guys' business, or incentivize them to push product?
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Yeah, please.
We launched our membership program last year, well, this season, and we immediately incentivized our reps with a portion of every membership that they sell, because it's an annual plan and it's not cheap. So they really felt the incentive to, and it's not like we weren't pushing the hard sale. It's like, hey, make sure you mention that if they're about to spend $1,000 on fireworks, like you could save immediately by spending, $100 or whatever. So just give them a piece of it. Once they have a taste, it's like, they're in. They're going to sell your stuff.
Yeah, I think some reps are better than others, but we incentivize them that if someone calls in to cancel, which is the majority of our phone calls, that if they save the sale, they get a bonus, and it's immediate impact. It's like before we were trying to educate them on like, oh yeah, save the sale, and we're like, oh, we're going to give you a piece of it. Then all of a sudden the numbers start going up.
Yeah.
It's weird how that works.
Crazy.
Yeah, right? Is that what you're smiling as if like this is the tactic to play with?
So I would say at Aventus, we find many ways to incentivize the agents. It's more of a culture. So incentives can definitely be monetary. Everybody loves monetary incentives, and I think that's always the go-to. Some of our incentives as well are for the agents to take that time to complete additional education, and they'll gain certificates. Not only that, they can go in the running for bonuses and recognition within the company and their teammates as well. So I look at incentives not just as monetary, but ways to help them further their education and skills, and earn certificates and be able to kind of show off in front of their teammates as well on their progress.
Can I say one?
Please, I want some more.
This is something I can't figure out how I want to do it, so I keep changing it, but it actually works pretty well, because we have so many different KPIs depending on what's going on in the business. And we actually ended up just doing like random bonuses, like when we see someone doing like killing it at like something that's very challenging. We have 70 support agents at Audience Hearing, because every old person needs to call us even though they can't hear, and it's very challenging. It's very challenging. But with so many support agents, and like our return percentage is a really big focus, we'll like give random bonuses for like people with like the agents that you can tell just like care. And we always say that, you know, all of these KPIs, we have all these metrics, but just don't forget about the customer. And if you're really truly, if I'm using Audience as an example, if you're really truly helping the customer here, all your other KPIs will like fall into place. And we use that, we like remember the why and like the reason why we started the business, and reminding them of that while you're telling them in the same sentence that like, don't forget we have a protection plan, and so that they can like help them if they lose their device, they can get one for cheaper, and it's all helping them here. So while trying to help them sell, they're remembering the why, and everything else falls into place. So we ended up just like giving random bonuses because someone's doing a good job, and it's working really well.
Anything on you, Kel?
What is it?
I'll just say, I mean, they pretty much touch on everything. I'll just say you need to reward the right behavior.
Yep.
You know, I think that anything that is incentivized, even if it's like I love the way you put it, it was so beautiful, because ultimately if you're doing what's right for the customer, I mean, regardless of whether it's an upsell, cross-sell, or if you just gave an amazing experience, it should be rewarded. And however that means for each person in the company, as a leader, it's your job to kind of know what makes this person tick. Are they coin operated, or would they rather have, you know, an extra day off next month? Whatever it is, right? So.
It's a very good point. Is there any questions from you guys are sitting in outside, or I'm going to do one final question. Any war stories or like anything that was just absolutely crazy that you guys had to deal with?
I got a fun one.
Okay, go.
So we can't ship fireworks to Maryland, but this dude was like, I need fireworks. But he didn't want to pay for them either, so he was in the
What?
He was in the crab business. Like he was a crab broker.
Okay.
And so he wanted to send us like whatever volume of crabs in exchange for shipping fireworks illegally to him in Maryland. So I wish I could say we did it. We didn't, but I had a picture of like all of his crabs, and I'm just like, what am I supposed to do with
That is
this?
awesome.
That is a fucking incredible story.
Yeah, there was several moments early on where the customer service lines were just down. We didn't know for a couple of weeks. We're like, oh, the call volume is very low right now.
Man.
I mean, this is when we were just starting off. And once we did figure it out, we were able to like jump back on it. But that's what led to us like really investing in understanding like, okay, we have to change if we want to grow. And since then, it's been good.
And your niche is like diehards. Like these people, I've seen so many videos of you. I've watched so many TRXs being redone or built, Forerunners built, that like when I'm in it and I see those comments, these people are, let's put it this way, if you called the thing the wrong thing, you're gonna hear it from
Sometimes we do that on purpose.
Oh, you're savage. You're just looking for
It's all about that engagement.
So I would say that my, kind of crazy stories are coming into the season now when we're heading into Black Friday, Cyber Monday, when brands are coming to us looking for that preparation to ensure that they can stay ahead of that ticket volume during their high peak season times, and really working with them to meet those deadlines and ensure that they're taking their teams from 5 team members up to 50 team members to handle this incoming volume, and segmenting it with tiers of service to ensure that their customers are still receiving the level of customer service that they come to expect, right? So your newest team handles the easiest tickets, your senior members are handling the most difficult conversations. So I would say, coming in and scaling teams in less than 30 days from 5 agents to 50 agents is probably some of our most exciting and crazy stories.
I want to hear a crazy Aventis story though. Like what's something
Give me
crazy?
something wild. Like you guys have wild people calling you. Have to.
Like a wild customer story?
I like that. Yeah, let's go there.
So I would say, and I have to say it's not every brand, but like 8 out of 10 brands that we work for, they always have that one customer that is constantly calling in, has an issue with every single thing to where every single agent knows their name. And it's just like, okay, great, Bill's on the phone again. Everybody know whose Bill is.
It's always Bill.
Throughout the whole organization, the name hits in the chat. I know who the customer is. Everybody knows who the customer is. And everybody needs to know how to handle Bill, who is again upset about line 52 in the terms and conditions. So yeah, just the repeat callers.
I have too many.
Too many?
Yeah.
Too scarred.
They're people who do like chargebacks or like fraudulent things, and you find out and then you realize they've been doing it for like a year, and then you like confront them, those types of customers. Like there was one customer, she told us her name was like Watermelandra or something, and she it's like Watermelandra is in my head forever. Like she lives rent free in my brain. She even like, she was trying to return something, and then she like demanded we give her money back, but it's outside the return window, and I don't understand why customers are all like entitled now that they get like, even if they're outside the return window, you need to give their money back, and then they'll charge back, and then the credit card company will give them their money back. It's like insane now. But yeah, we used to require, because we would have such a bad, we had a bad like fraud problem, so we would require like an ID. So we would ask them to like send. You remember this? She photoshopped a picture, like an ID, and with a watermelon, and her name was Watermelandra, and like crazy stuff. We saw people like Photoshop, like, because we would ask them to send us pictures of like what they actually received, and they would send us like the wrong pictures, and you could tell that they were photoshopping it, like so evident, like blatantly.
I think you're going back. I don't want to take you deeper. I can tell you're visibly upset.
Yeah, like this is triggering. No, this is actually healing.
It is.
Could I keep going? How much time do we have?
Have you ever had your agents do the reverse Google image search
Oh,
to make
yes.
sure that customers aren't just
We
pulling
had-
the pictures off the
Wait,
internet?
what?
We had
Yes.
one send us a picture of like our founder holding the product, saying like, "This is what I got." I'm like, "No, that's our founder. I know those shoes. Those are shoes. Like he has those shoes. Like get out of here."
Yeah, you'll have customers go and pull like, pictures of whatever off the internet and say, well, this is mine, here's the photo of it. And you can just reverse Google search it and be like, no, this was like posted on the internet 2 years ago.
Oh, I have a really spicy one.
Okay, this is the last thing before I
Okay,
think
this customer sent us a picture of, and they, you know how like when you do a screenshot and you can see like the bottom pictures?
Yes.
There was nudes in it.
So the whole long row at the bottom would all just.
Yeah.
Wow. Were they? Okay. The customer support Spicy's panel that we've had at the Sand Lake Conference. Round of applause. Thank you guys very much.
That's awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Doug, Kelly, Chris.
Oh my God.